The little squirrel who shared and discovered true riches once upon a time, nestled deep within the whispering branches of the grandest. Most ancient oak in the Evergreen Forest lived a little squirrel named Pip. Pip wasn't just any squirrel. He was a whirlwind of ceaseless energy, a fuzzy, bushy-tailed bundle of ambition, and a dreamer of vast, nutty fortunes. His greatest passion in life, his absolute, undeniable joy, was collecting nuts. And not just a few. Oh no. He envisioned possessing all the nuts. Every glistening acorn that fell, every plump hazelnut hidden in the grass, every sturdy walnut that tumbled from its shell. Pip believed they all belonged in his ever-growing hoard. He'd spend his days scampering up trees with tireless enthusiasm, his tiny paws deftly plucking treasures with practiced ease, then burying them in secret, well-hidden caches, or meticulously piling them high in his cozy, ever-expanding nest. More, just a little more. He would excitedly chatter to himself, his cheeks puffed out with his latest find, dreaming of sprawling mountains of nutty delights that would stretch as far as his little squirrel eyes could see. He truly believed that the more nuts he accumulated, the safer, the more secure, and ultimately, the happier he would be. His future, he thought, was measured in acorns. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves, like tiny flames, began to paint the forest in fiery reds, brilliant oranges, and deep golds, a sharp, biting wind, carrying the scent of distant winter, swept through the trees. Pip shivered a little, pulling his magnificent tail tighter around himself for warmth, grateful for the protective layers of his nest. Just then, a tiny field mouse, looking terribly thin, with sunken eyes and an utterly forlorn expression, scurried past the base of Pip's massive oak. The mouse, whose name was Squeaky, let out a soft, mournful sigh that seemed to carry on the wind, a sound laden with a quiet despair. Oh dear, Squeaky whispered, his voice barely audible, almost swallowed by the rustling leaves. Winter is coming so fast, and I simply haven't found enough food. My tummy rumbles with hunger, and I fear the long, cold days ahead without a single crumb. Pip nestled snugly amidst his immense, impressive hoard of nuts, which seemed to glow with his proud ownership, peeked out from his warm, secure nest. He was literally surrounded by towering mounds of acorns, countless walnuts, piles of hazelnuts that reached almost to the roof of his cozy home. He felt a peculiar, unfamiliar tug in his heart. It was a feeling that wasn't about wanting more nuts, but about something else entirely, a sensation that warmed him in a different way. But these are my nuts, he thought, a tiny flicker of his usual possessiveness asserting itself. I worked so hard for each and every one of them. They are my security, my guarantee against the cold and hunger. Yet Squeaky's tummy rumbled again, a loud, undeniable protest against hunger that echoed in the quiet air. And Pip couldn't help but vividly imagine how terribly cold, weak, and hungry the little mouse must truly feel. He pictured Squeaky shivering alone in a tiny burrow, wishing for just one small, fortifying bite. The image stirred something deep within him. After a moment of quiet reflection, a profound decision blossomed in Pip's tiny squirrel heart. It was a choice born not of his usual logic of accumulation, but of that strange, new, compassionate tugging feeling. With a swift movement, he scampered down his tree, chose not just any nut, but his most perfectly formed, shiniest acorn, a true prize from his collection, and gently, carefully pushed it towards the trembling Squeaky with his nose. Here, little friend, he chirped, his voice softer and kinder than usual, a new melody emerging. This might help you feel a little stronger. It's a very good one, picked with care. Squeaky's small, dark eyes, previously filled with despair, instantly lit up with an astonishment that quickly transformed into pure, unadulterated joy. A tiny, hopeful smile, full of gratitude, spread across his whiskered face. Oh, thank you, Pip. Thank you so much. You're so incredibly kind. This is the most wonderful gift I could ever imagine. The mouse carefully took the acorn in his tiny paws, nibbling on it with immense gratitude and relief. And Pip could almost see a tiny spark of strength and hope return to Squeaky's small frame. The sight was more satisfying than eating the acorn himself, seeing Squeaky's genuine, radiant happiness, a profound warmth, far more comforting and lasting than the deepest pile of nuts spread through Pip's own chest. It was a feeling so much nicer, so much richer, than the fleeting satisfaction of simply having all those nuts to himself. This warmth lingered, a new kind of treasure. From that magical day forward, whenever Pip saw an animal in need, a hungry bird struggling to find seeds, a shivering rabbit with thin fur, a lost beetle frantically searching for its way home, he would share a little bit of his treasure. He still collected nuts, of course. It was his nature, his joyous purpose. But now his purpose had expanded, deepened. He always made sure there was more than enough. Always a little extra to share with a generous heart, not out of obligation, but out of a newfound joy. And you know what the most amazing discovery was? The true revelation for little Pip? He found that the more he shared, the happier he felt deep down in his soul. His days, once consumed by the endless pursuit of more, were now filled with a lightness, a sense of connection and purpose he hadn't known before. And a truly wonderful thing happened throughout the forest. The more he shared his kindness, the more friends he made. These friends weren't just passive recipients of his generosity. They became a true interwoven community, a safety net of love and mutual support. When the harshest part of winter finally arrived, blanketing the forest in deep snow, and some of Pip's own hidden stashes were hard to find or frozen, Solid, his friends, remembering his boundless generosity, were always there to help him. They shared their own humble findings, their cached berries, their last seeds, ensuring Pip, the little squirrel with the big generous heart, always had enough to eat and a warm place to rest. He learned truly that real richness wasn't just in what you accumulated and held tight, but in the connections you built, the bonds you forged, and the boundless love you gave away. And in sharing, his own blessings seemed to multiply. Moral of the story: true happiness, lasting joy, genuine abundance are not found in hoarding what we have, but in the profound satisfaction and countless blessings that come from generously sharing with others. Sharing not only helps those in need and lightens their burdens, but also enriches our own lives immeasurably with deep friendships, a sense of belonging and genuine fulfillment.